He call you a green olive tree. What Paul said? You've been a wild olive tree. Wild. But the wild olive tree come from somewhere. He doesn't say he doesn't see a wine, he doesn't see a apple tree, he see a wild olive tree. He has become wild. Why? Because if you let a tree without pruning it, it become wild. It become wild. If we see that, I will show you vineyard which has not been pruned, either because the children don't want it and the father is too old, and you will see how they look. They become wild. Wild.
And the point is, Ephraim has never been even been grown up to the house of Jacob.
Yes.
This is why also they have been wild.
Yes.
They are not born
Now
in the...
the problem comes also from the teaching of the two houses. Because the two houses they make a shortcut. They make Ephraim, the house of Israel, and Judah. Finish. But here we have three groups. Okay? Because here we see.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's clear. Yeah. It's very interesting because. It's so great, darling. So really. You see? So here we have to understand that when we speak about Goyim, these are those descendants of Ephraim who were scattered in the four corners of the earth, who have become pagans. They have become pagans. But in their heart is something. It's a seed. It's a seed.
And this shall spoke about a seed.
Yeah. It's a Torah. His Torah is somewhere. And this Torah in these last days now begin to bear fruit. Some turn back. They will say, oh, our father have inherited lies. You see? And they will turn back to the truth. Okay? So it's very, very interesting to understand this point in order to have something very clear. Now I want to talk about the Noahide. Let's speak about the wisdom of Shaul as it is displayed in these letters. Let us go to Romans chapter 11 and see how Shaul revealed things which are not plain in the text. Okay, Romans chapter 11, from the verse 13 to the verse 18. If you want to read. For I speak to you, Gentiles. I come back to this term later. Inasmuch as I am the apostle of the Gentiles, I magnify mine office. If by any means I may provoke to emulation those which are of my flesh, and myself some of them. For if the casting away of them to be reconciling of the world, but what showed the receiving of them, but life from the dead? For if the first fruit be holy, kadosh, the lump is also, and if the root be kadosh, so the branches. And some of the branches be broken off, and you being a wild olive tree, were grafted in among them, and with them partakers of the root and fatness of the olive tree. Boast not against the branches, but if you boast, you bear not the root, but the root thee. So now, first of all, we will look at 2 points. Who are these branches which were broken? Because here, some of the branches, so it's not one branches, they are branches plural. And then we're going to look at the term Gentiles as it is understood in the first century by Shaul. So now, for the term Gentiles, we want to go to the prophecy he made. In the same chapter, we read from the verse 25 and 26 something very interesting,
Jeremiah?
which is in Roman 11, 25, 26, something which is often misinterpreted because of a lack of understanding. Here we read, "For I will not, brethren, that you should be ignorant of this mystery." He called that a mystery, lest you should be wise in your own conceit, that blindness in part is happened to Israel until the fullness of the Gentile be come in. And so all Israel shall be saved. So all Israel shall be saved. For it is written, there shall come out of Zion the deliverer, and shall turn away ungodliness from Jacob. So here we have a point which is very interesting. He said that the blindness I come until the fullness of the Gentile be coming. So Gentile is a generic term which we don't understand. If we want to understand, we have to try to understand what Shaul is saying. Shaul is speaking with the Torah in his mind. First of all, as I discussed with my wife, we saw that Shaul is an Israelite. He said, I am an Israelite of the tribe of Benjamin. If you go in the Torah, and if you look in the story of Joseph, and you go into the book of Yasher, here you will have more details about this situation. In the Torah, if you look carefully, you will see that Joseph revealed himself first to his brother Benjamin. So it's not coincidence if Shaul got the revelation of Yeshua, because Joseph is a shadow of the Mashiach, of Yeshua, to rule over the whole world. So there is no coincidence. Now, the term Gentiles is a generic term, as I said, which is in Hebrew the term Goim, plural from Goy. Goy is translated often as nation, group of people, one group. Goim is nations plural. But what nations? So Paul has something very clear in his mind, and we're going to see that. When he say here, until the fullness of the Gentile be come in the verse 25, he has the prophecy from Jacob in his mind. And we're going to look at that. We go to Bereshit, Genesis chapter 48. We go there and we look to understand, excuse me, to understand what Shaul is saying, if he make that out of his mind or something. Here in the chapter 48, Joseph bring his two children, Manasseh and Ephraim, to Jacob, because Jacob want to bless them and to adopt them in his family. So he's speaking, and when we see the problem that Joseph think that Jacob put his right hand on Ephraim and the left hand on Manasseh, and he want to correct his father, but the father said, I don't make a mistake, you see. And when Joseph saw that his father laid his right hand, verse 17, upon the head of Ephraim, it displeased him, and he held up his father's hand to remove it from Ephraim's head, unto Manasseh's head. And Joseph said to his father, not so, my father, for this is the firstborn. Put thy right hand upon his head. Now listen what Jacob said. And his father refused, and said, I know, my son, I know. He also shall become a people, and he also shall be great. But truly, his younger brother shall be greater than he, and his seed shall become a fullness of nation. In Hebrew, Melo Hagohim, fullness of nation. And he blessed them that day, saying, in thee shall Israel bless, saying, Elohim make thee as Ephraim and Manasseh, and has set Ephraim before Manasseh. You see, here we have the starting point of Shaul Midrashim in the letters. He has that in mind. Here we see that these nations, if you go into the Hebrew, you will see Gohim, which is a term Gentiles. Gentiles in Greek is ethnos. Ethnos is the same translation as we see in Gohim. He said the fullness of the nations. What do we read in the book of Romans? We go back. Until the fullness of the Gohim become him. So these Gohim are not, like many says, pagans, pick there and there. No, they are pagans in nature, because they lived as pagan. But they are the descendant from Joseph, from Joseph. This means they are Hebrew, Israelite. Okay, they have been adopted by Yaakov into his household before he died. And this is a prophecy, and there is much more to say here. So now we need to see that the term going do not speak to pagans as it is understood by many.
It's a multitude.
But
Gentiles are translated as multitude.
yeah, ethnos is the word for Gentiles. We have said that. Now we need to understand that when we read Shaul Paul teaching, we need to understand that he is a man, a Benjamite, who received the revelation of whom? Of his brother Joseph, which is in the spiritual realm, which is Yeshua. Yeshua revealed himself to Shaul not by accident. It's not by accident. It is because Joseph revealed himself to his brother Benjamin. And he said that Yeshua is the first from the dead among his brethren. Okay? So you see here, this is very important to understand. When we read the scripture, we need to have the Torah in our mind. If we don't want to make false doctrine, false conclusion, we need to see, what does Shaul mean? How it is? How does he see that? When we see that, we will understand, because in the eyes of Elohim, we read clearly that Yeshua come and will come back for the house of Yaakov. Only for the house of Yaakov. Either we are from the house of Yaakov by the natural descendants, this means by blood, or we are from the fullness of the nations who turn back to the truth through Mashiach Yeshua. I will show you that. We go to Luke 1:33, when the birth of Yeshua was about to come. We read clearly the Malach Gabriel speak to Miriam and say, listen to that. And he shall reign, that is Yeshua, over the house of Yaakov forever, and of his kingdom there shall be no end. We see here the reconciliation. I will show you that. The reconciliation from the house of Yaakov unto his creator, the maker of the world, Yehovah Tsebaot. Paul go further. He go in Ephesians and say, in Ephesians chapter 2, we read, this is not what we imagine. We read something very, very interesting, and I want to read with you Ephesians chapter 2, and we read. That is very, very interesting, because you will see now to whom he is speaking. We go Ephesians chapter 2 from the verse 10. For we are his workmanship, created in Mashiach Yeshua unto good work, which showing us before ordained that we should walk in them. Wherefore remember that you being in time past Gentiles. No, you were not the pagans, you were the Gentile, you were this goyim, this nation, in the flesh. You see, in the flesh, who are called uncircumcision, because majority of people are not circumcised, by that which is called the circumcision, the Yehudim, okay, called today the Jew, in the flesh, made by hands. That at that time you were without Mashiach, been alien from the commonwealth of Israel. Commonwealth, you know the commonwealth is a commonwealth is where the nations come together under one banner, and stranger from the covenant of promise, having no hope and without Elohim in the world. Yes, because if you remember, Ephraim has been scattered in the four corners of the earth because of idolatry, because of rebellion, because of false doctrine. They have been scattered. So now we see here, he said, you were out of the covenant. The covenant was broken with you, because if you read in the Jeremiah chapter 3, you will see that Jehovah gave a bill of divorce to whom? To Ephraim. He gave a bill of divorce. He divorced them. He said, okay, I don't want to see you anymore. You go in the world. Remember the parable from Yeshua, the prodigal son. Who is this prodigal son in this story? Is it not Ephraim? Yes, it is Ephraim. Ephraim will return to his father. He will amend his way. And what will happen? His brother was never left. The father will be jealous upon him. Okay, this is just to say. You can research on your own. Now we say, but now, verse 13, in Mashiach Yeshua, you who sometimes were far off are made nigh by the blood of Mashiach. For his our peace was made both one, and has broken down the middle wall of partition, having abolished in his flesh the enmity, the law of commandment, contained in ordinance, for to make in himself of twain one human. The law of ordinance is not the Torah. This is the teaching from the Pharisees, which was enmity, which was against the will of Elohim, and that he might reconcile both unto Elohim in one body by the stake, having slain the enmity thereby, and came and preached peace to you which were afar off. That is the Goyim, Ephraim. We both have access by one Spirit unto the Father. Now therefore you are no more stranger and foreigner, but fellow citizen with the Kedoshim, the saints, and of the household of Elohim. You remember we have seen the household. The household is the house of Jacob. Is the house of Jacob. And we need to know that, because those who still pretend that there is a church, there is no church. The word church is the word ecclesia in Greek, which is the word kehila in Hebrew, and which means an assembly of people. So now, having said that, I want to go back to something which is very interesting in Romans again. I want to show you that Shaul was really speaking by the Ruach, and do not make his own story as many say. He say, remember we were in the chapter 11, and he say here, I speak to you Goyims, Gentiles. He said, as much as I am the apostle of the Goyim, the Gentiles, I magnify my office. And he goes on, and he say, and if some of the branches should be broken off, and you being a wild olive tree, were grafted in among them, and with them partake of the root and fatness of the olive tree, boast not against the branches, but if you boast, you bear not the root, but the root thee. Now I want to show you something, because I know that the majority of people say that the branches which were broken off are the Jew. Is that really so? Is that really what Shaul say? I will show you. Who are these branches and how they were broken? Okay? We turn to Jeremiah chapter 11 and we read. From the verse 15. Now, what has my beloved to do in my house? She has brought lewdness with many, and the holy flesh is passed from thee. When you does evil, then you rejoice. Jehovah called thy name a green olive tree. You see, the green olive tree is here, fair, of goodly fruit, with the noise of a great tumult. He has kindled fire upon it, and the branches of it are broken. Exactly what Shaul say. For Jehovah Tsebaoth, that planted you, has pronounced evil against you, for the evil of the house of Israel and of the house of Judah, which they have done against themselves, to provoke me to anger in offering incense unto Baal. You see, the branches is against the house of Israel and the house of Judah. It's not against Judah. It's not against the Jew. It's against the house of Israel and the house of Judah. These are the branches which were broken. So we have to understand, because when we look very carefully, if you remember, when the children of Israel left Egypt, they followed Moshe. Okay? There were about 600,000 men plus women, mothers, children, and so on. And it is written, and what? And a multitude followed them. A multitude. Were that the children of Israel? No. That were Gentiles. That were going. The descendants of Ephraim were there. Do the journey with Ephraim. They follow and they left. You see, he has been always so. Jehovah said many times in his Torah that the stranger are welcome, that everyone is welcome as soon as they keep the Torah. One law, one Torah for the native born and for the stranger. No difference. So I hope that you will have now a better discernment of what Shaul is speaking. I say to you that there is no other man since Shaul who had the greatest revelation of the Mashiach. And the reason is simply because Yeshua revealed himself to him. And the reason is because he is the brother. You have that in the Torah when you study the parasha from Joseph. You will see that he revealed himself to Benjamin, his brother. So, okay, I hope it helped, and we will come to another topic very soon. Shalom and Shavua Tov.